One of the new flipping baits that we came out with recently is the new Rage ShellCracker. What it is the basic brim style body, but it has twin flipper tails on the back that have the Rage Tail flange, and I just popped that little tear tab loose on it. This bait can be used, it's a very versatile little bait, and it can be used a variety of different ways, and I'm going to show you each of the ways that I like to use it. First off, we'll talk about, let's say, a Texas rig. Here's one that's Texas rigged, and you'll notice I have the hook, that's about a 4/0 EWG, and I have it hooked through the body sideways so that it planes when it goes down on its side like this, and this weight is loose. That's a 3/8 tour grade tungsten. That's what I'm using on this particular trip. And this is for Texas rigging. You just leave the slip weight slipping up and down the line. And that 4/0 hook is a 4/0 EWG gammy. I like the heavy wire because I'm fishing some pretty thick stuff. So this is just a typical Texas rig with it rigged flat on its side like our rodent bait. And now I'll show you, it's basically similar or same as a flipping bait, but we pegged the weight. And you'll notice, of course, I've got the Hack Attack heavy cover flipping hook on there, and you'll notice the weight is pegged right there with the bait itself. So that when the bait goes through the trees and stuff, the weight stays with it, and it doesn't give you a false hit or a false bite. A lot of times when that bait is coming over trees and through limbs, the bait will stay on one side of the limb, you have a slack line, and that weight falls down and hits the bottom of that line in the bow, and you think it's a hit and you set the hook into a limb. You don't want to do that. Let's keep that weight attached right there with it. I've actually just got a weight stop just ahead of it so that it doesn't slide up and down the line. Now I'll show you another way. As a jig trailer, this is our Hack Attack heavy cover jig. And you'll notice I have that ShellCracker mounted on there as a trailer. What that does is it bulks up the body of this substantially. So when you're looking for a short, compact, yet bulky body jig, this is what you want to do right here. So all I did was just rig it on its side, and it gives it a very great swim jig approach, or it's great for flipping as well. You might check that out. Here's another way to rig it. In every one of these ShellCracker, there's a little open slot for the belly. So what can we do with that? Swim bait. You'll notice this one is hooked up with a swim bait hook. And actually, when I use the ShellCracker on a swim bait hook like this, the hook that I like to use is a 5 to 6/0. But I'm using it's called a Moner weighted hook. The brand is Moner. And this particular hook fits the body of this bait extremely well. Regardless which swim bait or hook that you use, make sure that the hook itself doesn't impede in the body of the bait. And you'll notice this one has a little fin on the belly of it right here. When I'm using it as a swim bait like this, I'll actually trim that fin off. I've actually trimmed the fin on the bottom of the belly off of the ShellCracker here. There's also a hook slot up in the back that you can skin hook the bait so that it swims through the water column like this. When the bass are eating brim, small shad, things like that, this is the ticket. You might want to check it out. On the fall, with that little weighted hook, this ShellCracker comes down shaking side to side like this on the fall. Then of course when it's swimming, the little Rage Tail flanges on the tails just give it that incredible action. And so you might want to check this one out. It's a sweet little bait as well.